This week, the universe asks you one question. Will you choose power or performance? Mercury stations direct in Leo, but not before locking eyes with Pluto and Aquarius over here. The truth wants out. The old mask wants to crack. And Venus over here, she doesn't just sweeten the deal. She expands what your heart actually is craving. Okay? With this Jupiter here. Welcome back, beautiful ones. I'm simply Cindi, and this is your astrology forecast for the week of August 11th through the 17th, 2025. But more than that, this is a forecast that shifts timelines. Around here, we don't just track planets, we track turning points. You'll find astrology that's soul led, emotionally honest, and unapologetically transformational. These are not just updates, these are initiations. And this week, we're walking through a moment of emotional realignment, spiritual confrontation, and universal initiation. Last week's Aquarius full moon cleared the field. And if you haven't seen that video, I'll put it right up here. Illuminating what needed to end, what no longer fits, and what your soul has outgrown. Now this week picks up that thread and asks, now that you've seen the truth, will you act on it? I'll walk you through the pressure points and the portals and give you the tools to shift out of performance and into purpose. All right, this is a pretty important week. This isn't just another week of astrology. This is a 5 alarm spiritual wake up call. This is what I'm seeing. Okay? So, Mercury is going direct in Leo, but not before clashing with that Pluto retrograde across of it, like opposite of it in Aquarius. Okay? This is forcing a truth to surface that cannot be reburied. It is going to come out. Pluto retrograde is going to make sure, especially with that Mercury going direct, it is going to bring it up to the surface. Okay? Understand this. And at the same time, we have Venus kissing Jupiter in Cancer over here. Okay? Like Jupiter expands everything. So it's going to be bigger. Okay? It's going to feel bigger because Cancer is feel. Okay? Feel bigger. This is offering you deep emotional healing. But here's the catch. Only if you stop performing and start telling the truth about what you really want. Okay? At the same time, we have Mars in Libra that who is diplomatic and strategic and conflicted. And that is standing across in this opposition to both Saturn and Neptune, who are both retrograde, okay, in Aries. Now, that is universal tension between your desire to be liked and your soul's demand to be real. Okay? So let me tell you what I see, how this alignment is here, and what it is here to help you with. Okay? And by the way, if you don't know any astrology, this will not confuse you. I'm going to walk you through everything. You do not have to know astrology. If you know astrology, you'll even better. But if you don't, you're fine. Okay? So, this alignment is here to confront where you've been silencing your voice to keep peace, right here. It's also here to illuminate what's been manipulated or distorted in your perception of power. It is also here to crack open the emotional wound you sugar-coated to survive. How many of us have done that? It's also here to reveal where your niceness is just masking fear of being abandoned. Okay? So, How could you be feeling this week? And these energies are going to be going on all week. This is why I'm bringing these particular things out. Okay. So you may feel a deep pull to say what you've held back, even if it risks fallout. You may also feel a longing for nourishment that can't come from people pleasing. You may also feel frustration with relationships or systems, even where your truth is not welcome. There's going to be some pull here, right here. Saturn is going to test you. Okay. That's what he's doing right now. Okay. You may also feel waves of old grief, vulnerability, or doubt, paired with a strange sense of strength underneath. It's almost like you're stronger at this point to be able to see this, even though you're vulnerable and you have some doubts. Okay. So this week, when this may be happening to you and these things may be coming out for you, I want you to ask yourself this: what truth am I finally ready to live out loud, even if it costs me the old version of peace? Okay. You can also ask, where am I mistaking control for safety? There is a difference. Okay. And then I also want you to ask, what parts of me are exhausted from keeping others comfortable? This is a very important one. They're all important, but this one might hit you this week. Please ask yourself that question. You deserve to have the answer for this. What parts of me are exhausted from keeping others comfortable? Your truth is not too much. Remember this. Your truth is not too much. It's too real to fit in the old timeline. That's what's happening. So even though these energies are going to be going on all week, right? There is where it's going to be mainly activated from the 11th through the 13th. And the aspect that I'm talking about is this Mars in Libra, and it's opposing Saturn and Neptune retrograde in Aries. Okay. These are retrogrades. These are really, really important. Okay. So this isn't just a difficult opposition. It's an inner war between what's expected of you and what you actually want. Okay? So Mars in Libra wants to keep things balanced, beautiful, and rationally intact. Like, let's not disturb anybody. Let's just keep the peace, right? But Saturn and Neptune over here, especially retrograde in Aries, the identity, they're going to be calling your bluff. Okay? They're calling Mars and Libra's bluff. Okay? They're showing you, and this is how they're going to do it. They're going to be showing you every place you've abandoned your own instinct to preserve someone else's comfort. That's what's going to be coming about. Okay. So, what is this opposition going to be exposing? It's going to be exposing where you compromise your truth just to keep the peace. It's also going to expose how your identity over here, Aries, has been shaped by obligation and not sovereignty. It's also going to expose the ways you've been spiritually bypassing anger or urgency, telling yourself it's not the right time when it's been time for about 10 years or so. Okay. This is the week where you recognize the relational pattern that's masking as kindness, but it's rooted in erasing yourself, not having your true self be out. Okay. This is the week where you feel the burden of performing balance when you really just need to break through. Okay. It's also the week where you stop calling it grace when it's actually fear of rejection. Okay? When these things come about, I want you to ask yourself these things. Where am I pacifying others to avoid disappointing them? Where is that happening? What have I spiritualized to avoid confronting? You know what I'm talking about when I say spiritualized, right? Oh, they didn't mean that. Oh, they've had such a hard time. Oh, blah, 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 blah. Like you're making excuses for them just to avoid confronting. Okay. What truth is my anger trying to protect? I need you to ask yourself that a lot, several times this week. Okay. Let me tell you what Mars is activating. Mars in Libra is saying, I want connection, but not at the cost of self-respect. That's Mars. He's not going to have the cost of self-respect. Nobody's taking his self-respect. Okay. Saturn retrograde in Aries is going to be saying, you're not meant to wait for permission to lead. You're not. You're not meant to wait for permission to lead. Lead. Okay. And Neptune retrograde in Aries, the dream must align with my identity. That's Aries. Who are you? What have you been trying to anchor? Who have you been trying to unfold and be more of, right? Peace that costs you your power isn't peace. It's performance. That's the timeline shift. If peace is costing you your power, it isn't peace, it's performance. And Mars is saying, you can't keep performing and expect to be free. You can't. That's the truth of it. All right. Now, Venus and Jupiter over here, this is such a good aspect in Cancer. You're going to feel it. Okay. And it is going to be the exact on the 11th. So on the 11th is when they go exact, but it will be active all week. Okay. So while the rest of the sky pulls up your truth and peels off your mask, Venus and Jupiter in Cancer open the heart, not just for healing, but to reclaim yourself, for reclamation. Okay. These are the two most loving planets. These two. This is a great aspect. Meeting in the sign of ancestral safety. This is where your ancestors' safety is. This is where you get this from. Sacred nourishment and emotional belonging. These things will be coming up in such a beautiful way for you. Okay. But here's the soul key. You cannot receive what you're still performing for, because that's not your truth. That's performance. Okay. This isn't the kind of abundance you manifest through effort. It's what arrives when you're finally safe enough to stop begging for crumbs. Okay. Do I need to say that again? You cannot receive what you're still performing for. This isn't the kind of abundance you manifest through effort. It's what arrives when you're finally safe enough to stop begging for crumbs. Now, what this conjunction awakens, these two talking together is called a conjunction. The hunger to be cherished for your truth, not your usefulness. I feel like I need to say that again. The hunger to be cherished for your truth, not your usefulness, your truth. Old memories of being too much emotionally and how you learned to shut down to survive. This is all these things that are going to be awakened. Okay. These are really, really important for your alignment, for your timeline shift. Okay. It's also going to awaken the opening to receive love, support, or success in a way that actually feels good, not just looks good. Okay. When Jupiter and Venus come together, especially in Cancer, what they're saying is you're not too much. You're just around the people who were too wounded to hold your bigness, to hold how big your energy is. Okay? Jupiter Jupiter and Venus in Cancer are also saying abundance isn't earned through suffering. It's not. It's allowed through softness, through that heart. Okay? And the other thing that Jupiter and Venus in Cancer are saying is you've already done the work. Now let the love catch up to you. Okay? Ask yourself these things when this starts opening up for you. Okay? Where am I still proving that I deserve love or success? Also, what kind of nourishment does my soul truly need right now? I mean, have you asked yourself that question lately? What nourishment does my soul truly need right now? We don't even give ourselves permission to do that. Like, that's important. And then ask yourself, what would it feel like to stop striving and start receiving? This is Venus. I started that Venus series. You guys have to go look at it. I'll put that one up here too. Okay? That comes out every Friday, and we just started it. I'm going Venus through the houses, but that's what she talks about. Okay? Receiving. She doesn't go after anything. Okay? And in Cancer, you're going to feel it. And with Jupiter there, you're going to feel it even more. Okay? So, what you might experience this week is unexpected gifts or support, especially when you stop chasing. See? Astrology, the way that people interpret it, it depends on your perception. I see this as a beautiful aspect. I think that you guys should be not be such in such an uproar or in such fear. There's great things coming for you. Okay? You might experience deep emotional release, tears, or memory flashes tied to childhood worthiness. Okay? This is Cancer. This is your ancestor. This is your DNA. This is where you come from, right? You also might experience a longing for softness, of rest, of beauty, of comfort, of intimacy, but not knowing how to let it in fully, right? Your soul is aching and wants this. The healing isn't in the receiving itself. It's in believing you were always worthy of it. Because you were, you are, you've always been worthy of it. They just tell us differently. Not anymore, though. That's why I'm here. That's why we're all here. We're changing this. Okay? So, speaking of changing this and wanting to embody this, right? This is where I'm different from everybody else if you haven't seen me. I'm going to give you some steps to take, rituals, whatever you want to call it. We're going to do some somatics. I want to help you go through this energy, right? Not just know what this energy is, but actually transform, alchemize, release, do what you need to do, right? To shift these timelines, right? So, let me give you some steps to take, right? This week doesn't ask you to hustle for your healing. It's not. It's not like you have to do too much. You have to blah, blah, blah. You have to, no. It's asking you to let in what's already trying to reach you. So here's a very simple way to anchor this energy of Venus, Jupiter, and Cancer. Okay. And what this is doing is it's going to soften the nervous system so that you can receive without resistance. Okay. Just allow. All right. So this is just a mini steps to take. It's very, very mini. Okay. So find a quiet space. You're going to need a candle or a cup of warm tea. Something that's very comforting. So as far as the candle, what color makes you feel good? What is comforting to you, right? Or if you're going to do just a warm cup of tea, or warm coffee, whatever you want, just something that makes you feel comfortable. Okay. Something that's very comforting to you. Okay. And then you're going to put your hand over your heart. So as you're holding the tea, or as you have the candle lit in front of you and in your quiet space and in a beautiful surrounding for you, whatever that is that's very comforting, I want you to speak out loud. And you don't have to say it so loud. Just say it out loud to yourself. I release the habit of earning my worth. I no longer shrink to stay safe. I am open to what is meant for me. And then just sit there in silence for 1 minute. Allow you, your body, your soul, your mind to just sit in silence. No goal, just breath. Let your body feel what it's like to be safe while doing nothing. Just 1 minute. That's it. You can do longer if you want, but just 1 minute. Okay? Now, the next one I'll give you is a breath practice. Okay? And this has to do with helping you receive. Okay? So I want you to inhale slowly for 4 counts through your nose. And then I want you to gently exhale through your mouth for 6 counts. And then I want you to repeat that 3 times. And as you're doing that, I want you to silently say on each exhale, okay, I receive on the inhale, and then on each exhale, you're going to say, I allow. So I receive, I allow. I receive, I allow. And this breath calms your system. It's rewiring your subconscious to welcome support, and then it anchors your new baseline, okay? So that you allow yourself to receive without apology. All right? Now, let me leave you with this before we go. Okay? This week splits timelines. All right? Not with force, but with frequency. Mercury and Pluto did clash so you could argue. They collided so you could remember what your truth sounds like unfiltered. That's why the energy is the way that it is. Okay? Venus and Jupiter don't kiss so you could get what you want. What they're doing is they open a door to what your soul stopped believing it deserved. And Mars, well, Mars stood between the part of you that wants peace and the part of you that knows if peace costs you your power, it's just a prettier version of the past. Okay? So, beautiful one. This is not the week to try harder. This is the week to listen deeper, to trust that truth is a currency, and receiving is a revelation. You're not meant to perform your way into the life you're here to live. You're not. You're just meant to inhabit it. You're not supposed to perform to have it. You just inhabit it. It's just yours. It always has been. So, this week, speak what's real, stand where it matters, and open the door. And if you've been with me through the Pluto, through the houses, or the Soul Path series, you already know this. The old version of you didn't survive all of this just to repeat. It didn't do that just to repeat the prettier version of the past. That's not what you're doing. This is the week you stop performing power and start becoming it.